The massive chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with the voices of 50 different alien species. Lights from the artificial sun shone through the crystal dome ceiling, casting rainbow patterns across the polished floor. At the center of it all stood a single human. Ambassador John Carter adjusted his blue uniform and waited for the noise to settle. After 2 years of frustrating peace talks, his patience had finally run out. The aliens around him continued their discussions, barely acknowledging his presence. They never did. From his elevated platform, the Zrelkan ambassador waved his tentacles angrily. His purple skin glistened under the lights as he spoke. The human colonies must accept these new trade restrictions, the Zrelkan insisted. Their mining operations threaten our economic interests in the outer systems. Across the chamber, the representative of the Vox Imperium nodded her bulbous head. And they must grant us access to Earth's water reserves. Our home planets face drought cycles. John knew what that meant. The Vox wanted Earth's oceans for nearly nothing in return, just like the Zrelkans wanted human-mined minerals for a fraction of their value. For 2 years, John had tried diplomacy. He had endured the Council's delays and insults. He had reported back to Earth that patience would eventually win fair treatment. He had been wrong. John stepped forward. The universal translator at his throat activated, carrying his voice throughout the chamber. "Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Council," he began. The room gradually quieted. For 2 years, humanity has negotiated in good faith. For 2 years, we have compromised, adapted, and followed your rules. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. Others looked bored. "Today, this ends," John continued, his voice growing firmer. "By authority of the United Earth Government, I am announcing humanity's withdrawal from these peace talks and from all diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council." A shocked silence fell over the room, followed quickly by murmurs and even laughter from some representatives. The High Chancellor, a 6-limbed being named Amorax, leaned forward on his floating platform. "Ambassador Carter, surely this is an emotional response. Your species is known for such impulsive behavior." "This is not impulse," John replied calmly. "This is decision." Humanity entered galactic society hoping for partnership. Instead, we found exploitation. You view us as primitives to be harvested, not equals to be respected. The Draxian representative, a reptilian being with gleaming scales, made a dismissive gesture. "Without council protection, your colonies will be vulnerable. Your trade routes will collapse. Your technology will stagnate." John smiled slightly. "We are prepared to face those consequences." "You have fewer than 30 warships." The Draxian scoffed. "Your weapons are centuries behind ours. Your world has barely mastered interstellar travel." "Perhaps," John said. "But we know something you've forgotten during your thousands of years of dominance. We know how to stand alone." With that, he unpinned the council emblem from his uniform and placed it on the central table. The symbolic gesture brought gasps from the more traditional council members. "The human delegation will depart Nexus Station within 6 hours," John announced. "Any council ships entering human-controlled space after that time will be considered hostile." As John walked toward the exit, the Draxian called after him. "You'll be back within 1 standard cycle," begging for readmission. John didn't turn around. Outside the chamber, his team waited. They had already packed their belongings, ready for this moment. "Is it done?" asked his deputy, a woman named Karen Lee. John nodded. "It's done. Send the coded message to Earth. Protocol Thermopylae is active." As the human delegation boarded their ship, the U.S. Intrepid, the council members continued to debate what had happened. Most dismissed the human withdrawal as a meaningless gesture from a minor species. A few wondered if they had underestimated these newcomers from Earth. Only Counselor Thela of the Altheran species sat quietly, her 4 eyes blinking in concern. Unlike the others, she had studied human history. She alone understood what the Council had just done. They had backed a predator species into a corner. And now that Predator was going home to prepare. 3 months had passed since humanity's dramatic exit from the Galactic Council. Captain Lisa Warren stood at the viewport of Earth's orbital command station, watching as ships moved with purpose across the blackness of space. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her blue uniform bore the patches of Earth Defense Force's Rapid Response Division. Protocol Thermopylae is now at 70% completion, Captain, said her aide, Lieutenant Peter Grant, as he handed her a data tablet. Lisa nodded as she reviewed the numbers. All across Earth's colonies, hidden defense systems were being activated. Manufacturing plants that once made civilian goods now produced military equipment. Training centers worked around the clock to prepare soldiers and pilots. The aliens still haven't noticed the buildup? Lisa asked. No, Mom. The stealth measures are working. Council spy ships pass through our systems and see only what we want them to see. Lisa smiled. For years, the aliens had treated humans as backward newcomers to galactic society. This blindness would be their downfall. On Earth, in the underground war room beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Frank Nelson addressed the United Earth government. Holograms of military leaders and civilian officials filled the circular chamber. The Admiral's weathered face looked tired but determined. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't sugarcoat the situation. We face races with thousands of years of space travel experience. But they have a weakness, their pride. He activated a display showing detailed scans of various alien vessels. While they thought we were begging for peace, we studied their ships, their weapons, their defenses. The Zrelkin energy shields have a pulse frequency vulnerability. The Draxian targeting systems can't track objects moving in certain patterns. The Vox Imperium rely too heavily on quantum communications we can now jam. President Kate Lewis leaned forward. Are you saying we can win a war against the entire council? Frank shook his head. I'm saying we can hurt them enough that they'll have to treat us as equals. The council races don't respect weakness. They only negotiate fairly with those they fear. Across the room, General Sam Reeves added, we've built a shadow fleet in the asteroid belts and hidden moons of 17 systems. Our newest ships use technology the council doesn't know we have. We've prepared for this moment since the first peace talks failed. Meanwhile, on Nexus Station, the massive space habitat that served as the Galactic Council headquarters, High Chancellor Almerax examined reports about human activities. The tall, six-limbed alien skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns expressing mild annoyance. These humans are merely throwing a tantrum, Almerax said to his advisors. They will learn their place. Councillor Fila, representing the Altheran race, seemed less certain. Her 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of concern in her species. The human withdrawal was extremely organized, Chancellor. Their ambassador showed no signs of emotional decision-making. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach. Almerax made a dismissive gesture with his upper limbs. Their planet has barely achieved interstellar travel. Their fleet is tiny compared to even the smallest council member race. What threat could they pose? He turned to the Draxian representative, a reptilian being named Vextor. Implement minor trade sanctions on human worlds. Nothing too harsh, just enough to remind them of the benefits of council membership. Vextor's scaled face formed what passed for a smile in his species. With pleasure, Chancellor. The humans have resources we can easily take if they won't trade fairly. None of the council members noticed the small human-made cleaning drone in the corner of the chamber, its regular maintenance programming hiding sophisticated surveillance equipment. Within minutes, the council's plans were transmitted via encrypted burst signal to Earth Defense Command. In her office on Luna Base, Lisa Warren received the intelligence and immediately called an emergency meeting with fleet commanders. The council has made their first move, she told the assembled officers. They think sanctions will bring us back to the table. Instead, it gives us the perfect opportunity to show them what humanity is truly capable of. The officers nodded, faces grim but determined. Years of preparation were about to be tested. The aliens would soon learn that humans were not the primitive, helpless species they thought. The real question was how high the cost would be for both sides. 1 month later, a fleet of Zrelkan trading ships entered the Proxima Centauri system. Their sleek purple hulls gleamed in the light of the red dwarf star. The ships moved with confidence toward the mining stations on the system's 4th planet. For years, the Zrelkans had taken resources from this human colony at prices they set themselves. On the bridge of the lead Zrelkan vessel, Commander Jack Stoll lounged in his command chair. His tentacled fingers tapped a bored rhythm on the armrest. "Another simple collection run," he told his crew. "These humans may have left the peace talks, but they still need our protection. They'll give us what we want." A signal came through on the main screen. The face of a human appeared, Lieutenant Commander George Winters of the Earth Defense Force. His expression was calm, but his eyes were hard. "Zrelkan Trading Fleet, this is the EDF warship Resolute. The Proxima Centauri system is now closed to unauthorized Council traffic. Please turn your vessels around and leave human space." Jack Stoll laughed, his gill slits flaring with amusement. "Human, check your scanners. We have 6 ships. You have 1. Move aside or be destroyed." George didn't smile. "This is your final warning." Jack Stoll cut the communication and ordered his ships forward. The human was bluffing. Everyone knew humans only had a handful of outdated warships. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Zrelkan fleet. Sensors detected multiple energy signatures activating throughout the asteroid belt. Hidden defense platforms, previously invisible to scans, powered up their weapons. At the same time, 5 more human ships emerged from behind Proxima's larger planets. They had been hiding in the shadow of the gas giants, their engines cold, waiting. The Zrelkan commander stared in shock at his tactical display. His fleet was surrounded. "Impossible," he whispered. "Our intelligence said. Your intelligence was wrong." George's voice came through the comms again. "You have 30 seconds to begin retreat, or we open fire." The Zrelkans turned their ships around and fled the system without firing a shot. Similar scenes played out across human space that day. At Alpha Centauri, a Vox Imperium research vessel tried to enter human territory to collect water samples. They found a ring of armed satellites waiting for them. At the mining colony on Barnard Star, 3 Draxian cargo ships attempted to land and take their usual share of ore. They were met by new surface-to-space cannons. News of these encounters reached the Galactic Council quickly. On Nexus Station, the Council members gathered for an emergency meeting. "The humans have militarized their systems overnight," reported the intelligence director, a jellyfish-like Corian floating in its gravity tank. "Our ships were forced to retreat or face destruction." High Chancellor Almorax's skin flashed with angry red patterns. "This is unacceptable. The humans must be taught their place in the galactic order." Admiral Vextor of the Draxians stood and bowed to the council. His scaled skin gleamed under the chamber lights. "Chancellor, allow my fleet to demonstrate our power. We will target one of their research stations, something valuable but not heavily populated. The humans will see our strength and return to negotiations." Councillor Fila raised her hand in objection. "Is military action wise? The humans seem more prepared than we thought." "They are pretending," Vextor hissed. "Their ships are few. Their technology is primitive. One show of force will end this foolishness." The council voted. The majority sided with Vextor. "Very well," said Almorax. "Admiral, you may proceed with your demonstration. Remind the humans why the council has stood for 10,000 years." Back on Earth, in the monitoring center beneath Geneva, Lisa Warren watched the council meeting through their spy drones. She turned to Admiral Frank Nelson, who had just entered the room. "They took the bait," she said. "They're sending a punishment fleet to Neptune Station." Frank nodded slowly. "Then it's time for Phase 3. Alert Dr. Martinez to prepare the Poseidon Protocol." "Admiral," Lisa asked quietly, "are we ready for this?" Frank looked at the tactical display showing human forces throughout the solar system. "We've been ready for years. The Council just never bothered to notice. The Council punishment fleet moved through space toward the Neptune research station. 25 warships, led by the massive Draxian dreadnought Iron Fang, dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. The ships were the pride of the Galactic Council, powerful, advanced, and built by civilizations with thousands of years of space warfare experience. Admiral Vextor stood on the command deck of the Iron Fang, his scaled body straight with pride. He studied the holographic display of the Neptune station. The human facility orbited the blue planet, appearing small and fragile against the gas giant. Scanners show minimal defenses, Admiral reported his second-in-command. Only 3 small human ships guarding the station. Vextor's mouth formed the jagged line that passed for a smile among his species. This will be even easier than expected. Begin the approach. On Neptune station, warning alarms sounded as the Council fleet was detected. The station staff moved with quick efficiency, not panicked but clearly following well-rehearsed procedures. Dr. Susan Martinez, the head scientist, stood in the control center watching as evacuation ships departed with most of the personnel. "Poseidon protocol is ready," said her assistant. "Countdown is active." Susan nodded and looked at the final systems check on her tablet. Their intelligence told them, "This is just a research station. Let's show them how wrong they are." The Council fleet moved closer, spreading into an attack formation. Vextor opened a communication channel to the station. "Human facility. This is Admiral Vextor of the Galactic Council Enforcement Fleet. Your species has violated Council directives. Surrender your station, and we will spare the lives of your people. This demonstration of Council power will be reported to your government. Return to peace negotiations, and further action will be unnecessary." The reply came not from the station, but from a different source. A human man in a military uniform appeared on the screen. His calm expression showed no fear. "This is Fleet Commander Alan Shepard of Earth Defense Force. You've entered restricted space without permission." "Restricted?" Vextor laughed. "The Council goes where it wishes, human." Alan's expression didn't change. "You misunderstand. We're not demonstrating our defenses. We're demonstrating our resolve." Before Vextor could respond, his tactical officer shouted, "Admiral, the station is powering up something massive. Energy readings are off the charts." Vextor turned to the view screen in time to see Neptune's station transform. Panels opened along its sides, revealing weapon ports that had been hidden beneath a fake research exterior. At the same time, his sensors screamed warnings as objects rose from Neptune's rings, objects that had been disguised as ordinary ice chunks, but were actually human ships. "Impossible," Vextor hissed. "Their technology can't hide from our sensors." The truth dawned on him too late. For years, humans had been studying Council technology, finding its weaknesses while pretending to be technologically inferior. From the station, a wave of energy pulsed outward. When it passed through the Council ships, their main weapon systems failed. The quantum field disruptors, technology the humans shouldn't have been able to develop for another century, had disabled the fleet's primary armaments. Human vessels emerged from hiding places within Neptune's rings, using stealth technology reverse-engineered from Council designs. They moved in perfect formation, surrounding the much larger Council fleet. Fleet Commander Shepard's face returned to the screen. "Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are offline. You are surrounded. This could have been a massacre, but unlike you, we don't believe in unnecessary bloodshed. You have one option: retreat. Tell the Council that human space is closed. Any further military action will be met with the full force of our defense systems." Vextor's scales darkened with rage and humiliation. His mighty fleet, sent to teach the humans a lesson, had been caught in a trap. "This is not over," he snarled. "You're right," Shepard replied. "It's just beginning. You have 5 minutes to begin withdrawal before we target your engines too." The Council fleet turned around and limped away from Neptune, defeated without firing a single shot. As they retreated, Dr. Martinez watched from a small observation ship hidden in Neptune's atmosphere. "They never took us seriously," she said quietly. "That was their first mistake." 4 months after the Neptune incident, the great chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with angry voices. Representatives from 50 alien species filled the room. The air felt heavy with tension. High Chancellor Almorax stood at the center platform, his 6 limbs moving nervously. His skin flashed with patterns of stress and fear. The council members had never seen their leader so unsettled. "Order. We must have order," he shouted over the noise. Slowly, the chamber quieted. All eyes turned toward Admiral Vextor, who stood waiting to speak. His scales had lost their shine since the humiliation at Neptune. "The humans tricked us," Vextor said, his voice filled with hate. "They pretended to be weak while building secret weapons and ships. They studied our technology and found ways to defeat it." A wave of concerned whispers swept through the room. Councillor Traz of the Borlac Federation stood up, his massive bear-like form towering over the others. "How could primitives develop quantum field disruptors? That technology is beyond them." "Apparently not," said Councillor Thela. The slender Altharan moved to the center of the chamber, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Our mistake was assuming humans were less capable because they are younger. Their short lives make them learn quickly. They adapted our own technology and improved it while we looked down on them." The chamber divided into loud arguments. Some council members demanded immediate military action to crush the humans. Others suggested stronger economic penalties. A few, mostly the smaller races, proposed leaving human space alone entirely. Almorax struggled to maintain control. "We cannot allow this insult to stand. The Council has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We will not be challenged by newcomers." New information flashed onto the large screens around the chamber. Images showed increased activity across all human colonies. Their ships moved in coordination between systems. Their factories worked at full capacity. "Intelligence reports indicate unprecedented cooperation among human colonies," said the Quarian information officer. "They've developed new shield technology, faster ships, and weapons we've never seen before." Councillor Thela spoke again. "I've studied humans since they first joined Galactic Society. I believe we misunderstood their actions from the beginning. We thought they used peace talks to delay while they built their strength. But what if we had it backward? What if they were the ones studying us, learning our weaknesses, preparing for the moment when negotiations failed?" The room fell silent as the council members considered this disturbing idea. Vextor slammed his fist on the table. "Enough talk. I demand authorization for a full military response. We must strike Earth directly. Show these upstart humans the true power of the Council." A vote was called. The chamber was split into 3 groups: those who wanted war, those who wanted new negotiations, and those who wanted to isolate human space. After heated debate, the war faction gained majority support. "It is decided," Almorax announced. "We will assemble the largest fleet in Council history. We will target the human homeworld itself. Once Earth falls, their colonies will surrender." As the session ended, Thela approached Almorax privately. "Chancellor, I fear we are making another mistake. The humans let Vextor's fleet escape at Neptune. They could have destroyed it, but chose not to. That shows restraint we rarely see in the galaxy." Almorax dismissed her concerns. "They showed weakness, not restraint. No species can stand against the combined might of the Council." Thela watched him walk away, her inner eyelids closing in a gesture of sadness. "I hope you're right," she whispered, "for all our sakes." In a small observation room above the chamber, a human diplomatic aide named Kyle Rogers listened to everything. His job at the embassy had allowed him to remain on Nexus Station even after the withdrawal. He activated his secure communicator. "Earth Command, this is Watchman. The Council has voted for war. They're targeting Earth directly. The combined fleet from 12 species. Largest military action in Council history." "Understood, Watchman. came the reply. Return home on the next available transport. It's time for the final phase. Kyle looked out at the stars beyond the station viewport. Soon, those peaceful points of light would be filled with warships. The Council had made their choice. Now they would learn what humans did when truly threatened. The largest fleet in Council history moved toward the Sol system. Over 500 warships from 12 different alien species traveled in tight formation. Their weapons glowed with power. Their shields shimmered around their hulls. The combined might of 1,000 years of galactic warfare technology was aimed at a single target: Earth. On the bridge of the Council flagship, High Chancellor Almerax watched the tactical displays with satisfaction. Beside him, Admiral Vextor studied the approach vectors. "We will exit hyperspace at the edge of their system," Vextor explained. "Our forces will move inward, crushing any resistance. The humans have clever tricks, but they cannot stand against this much firepower." Almerax's skin flickered with anticipation. Once their homeworld is under our guns, they will surrender. The Council's authority will be restored. The massive fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Pluto. Scanners swept the outer system, finding it oddly empty of defenses. "No resistance detected," reported Israelkan officer. "Their outer system appears undefended." Vextor's eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Move forward cautiously. Remember Neptune." The Council armada advanced toward Mars, weapons ready. Still, they encountered no human ships. The red planet grew larger on their view screens. In her command center on the Earth ship Defiance, Admiral Barbara Hayes watched the enemy approach. Her gray eyes were calm as she studied the holographic display of the battlefield. Officers around her waited tensely for orders. "They're following the exact route we predicted," said her tactical officer. "Moving toward Mars in standard formation." Barbara nodded. "Transmit the signal. All ships, execute Shadow Protocol." Across the solar system, hidden human vessels activated their engines. Ships that had been powered down in asteroid fields, disguised as space debris, or concealed within the atmospheres of gas giants, suddenly appeared on Council scanners. On the Council flagship, alarms blared. "Human ships detected," shouted a sensor officer. Hundreds of them, appearing from nowhere. Vextor stared in disbelief at the tactical display. The human fleet was smaller than theirs, but moved in patterns he had never seen before. Their ships darted in impossible angles, confusing the Council targeting systems. "Open fire," Vextor ordered. Council weapons flashed across space, but the human ships moved too erratically for accurate targeting. Their advanced propulsion systems, developed in secret during the years of peace talks, allowed them to change direction instantly without slowing down. On Mars base, Colonel Richard Winters stood in the control center buried deep beneath the planet's surface. His hand hovered over a large red button. "Mars defense grid activated," he announced over the comms. "Phobos and Deimos weapons platforms online." The two small moons of Mars, which the Council had always assumed were just natural satellites, suddenly shifted position. Their rocky surfaces split open, revealing massive energy cannons built into the moons themselves. Years of secret construction had turned Mars' moons into the largest weapons platforms humans had ever built. "Fire," Richard commanded. Beams of concentrated energy shot from the moons, cutting through the center of the Council formation. Dozens of alien ships exploded instantly. The rest scattered in confusion, their neat formation broken. Admiral Hayes watched the battle unfold. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta. Drive them toward Earth." The human fleet moved in perfect coordination, herding the disorganized Council forces toward Earth. Despite their numerical advantage, the Council ships couldn't adapt to human battle tactics. They had never faced an enemy who fought like this before. Desperate to regain control, Vextor ordered the remaining ships to push straight for Earth. "We must reach their homeworld. Once it's under our guns, they'll surrender." As the Council fleet approached Earth, Admiral Hayes transmitted a simple message across all frequencies. "You were warned. The aliens looked toward Earth's moon, which had always seemed like an unremarkable satellite. Suddenly, the lunar surface changed. Massive sections of it slid open, revealing weapon systems built deep into the moon itself. Earth's natural satellite was actually humanity's ultimate fortress. "Impossible," whispered Amorax as the lunar cannons powered up. A single coordinated volley erupted from the moon. Concentrated beams struck half the remaining Council ships, disabling their engines and weapons without destroying them completely. The mighty Council fleet, pride of 12 species and symbol of galactic dominance, broke formation and fled in panic. Their ships jumped to hyperspace in small groups, abandoning their coordinated attack. In less than 6 hours, the greatest armada ever assembled had been defeated, and Earth's defenses had barely been scratched. 3 weeks after the Battle of Sol, the Galactic Council met in an atmosphere of crisis. The chamber was quiet, without the usual arguments and power displays. Many seats remained empty, representatives of species who had lost too many ships to maintain their council status. High Chancellor Amorax was gone. In his place stood Councillor Thela, elected as interim leader after the military disaster. Her 4 eyes surveyed the subdued gathering. "We face an unprecedented situation," Thela said. "For the first time in 10,000 years, the Council fleet has been defeated. Not just defeated, humiliated. We lost over 300 ships. Thousands of our people are dead or captured." A Zrelkan representative raised a tentacle. "Could we build another fleet? Attack again with even more ships?" Thela shook her head. "Intelligence reports suggest the humans used only a fraction of their true capability. The weapons on their moon alone could have destroyed our entire fleet, yet they chose to disable rather than destroy our ships." The chamber fell silent as this information sank in. "There's more," Thela continued. "Our long-range scanners have detected unusual activity throughout human space. They appear to be building jump gates, technology that would allow them to strike anywhere in Council territory within minutes." Fear spread across the faces of the Council members. For centuries, they had believed humans were primitive newcomers to be exploited or ignored. Now they realized the truth was very different. Suddenly, the chamber's communication system activated. A message appeared on the main screen: "Incoming transmission from Earth." Thela straightened her posture. "Accept the transmission." The screen filled with the image of a human woman in a simple but elegant blue uniform. Her short brown hair framed a face that looked neither angry nor triumphant, just determined. "Greetings, Galactic Council. I am Ambassador Olivia Clark, representing the United Earth Government. I request permission to dock at Nexus Station and address the Council directly." The Council members exchanged nervous glances. Was this the beginning of human demands? Reparations. Territory. "Permission granted," Thela replied. "We will receive you in the Council chamber." 3 hours later, Ambassador Clark walked into the Great Hall. She carried no weapons, brought no guards. Her confidence as she approached the center platform made several Council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. "Thank you for receiving me," Olivia began. "I come not to demand surrender or to impose terms, but to offer a new beginning." Murmurs of surprise filled the chamber. "Humanity could have counterattacked after your fleet retreated. Our ships could have followed yours back to your homeworlds. Instead, we chose restraint." She activated a small device she carried. A hologram appeared, showing a document titled "The Sol Accords." "This is our proposal. Not a peace treaty between winner and loser, but a new kind of agreement, one based on mutual respect rather than power. We ask for fair trade, recognition of our territorial boundaries, and a voice equal to any other in galactic affairs." Thela studied the document with interest. "You seek equality, not domination. After what we tried to do to Earth." Olivia nodded. "Throughout human history, we've been both predator and prey. We fought against nature and ourselves. Every human achievement came from overcoming seemingly impossible odds. When you dismissed us at the peace talks, you taught us who you truly were, and we prepared accordingly. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of various council members. But we never wanted war. We wanted respect. Now we have your attention. The question is, what will you do with this second chance? For a long moment, the chamber was silent. Then Thela stepped forward. I believe we should accept the Soul Accords, not because we fear human weapons, but because today I see human wisdom. One by one, the council members voted. The motion passed almost unanimously. The Soul Accords would become the new foundation of galactic relations. Later, as the formal ceremony concluded, Thela and Olivia stood at a viewport overlooking the stars of the galaxy. Perhaps we needed this lesson, Thela admitted quietly. Olivia smiled. The best alliances are formed between equals who understand each other's strength. We're ready when you are. Below them, council members and human diplomats mingled, cautiously at first, then with growing curiosity. Species that days ago had been enemies now exchanged stories and ideas. It wasn't peace based on dominance, but something rarer and more valuable. Peace based on respect. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the galaxy itself approved of this new beginning.